This is the 1956 piece Nudes and Masks by Pan Yuliang. That's just one of many of her amazing pieces of art, but her journey as an artist is just as incredible. She painted raw truth in a world determined to lock her in silence, and I'll tell you all about it today. I share stories like this every day, so hit follow to dive deeper into the art that shaped our world. Pan Yuliang was born June 14, 1895, under the Qing Empire in China. She grew up in unimaginable hardships. Both of her parents died when she was 14, and her uncle sold her to a brothel. She refused to engage in prostitution and was beaten brutally. She tried many times to disfigure her own face and end her life before eventually she became what was known then as a singing girl. One day, she caught the attention of a wealthy customs official who married her, bought her freedom, and paid for her education. Together, they moved to Shanghai, and in 1920, she passed the entrance exam for the Shanghai Art School. Her classmates in the conservative society in Shanghai often scorned her for her lowly background and for not fitting the model of a modern Shanghai woman. But she broke through and was one of the first women to graduate from that school. She then traveled to Paris to study more, and in 1925, she earned a scholarship to study in Italy. In 1929, she returned to China when she was invited back to the Shanghai Art School, this time to teach. But once again, she was criticized by the government and the conservative society for her female nude depictions. In China, they thought women should draw nature or portraits, and her paintings were seen as improper. But she kept going and often even used herself as a model. But in 1937, she went back to France for freedom and inspiration. She taught at the world-famous École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, but her life was far from easy. She struggled financially and had difficulty selling her art because she was marginalized by both the Chinese and the French. She lived in Paris for decades, but she kept her Chinese nationality, so they excluded her from mainstream art. But in China, her contributions to modern art were overlooked because of her long absence from the country. Pan Yuliang passed away in 1977 and was buried at the famous Montparnasse Cemetery in Paris. In 1985, many of her works returned to China and are now being held by the National Art Museum in Beijing. Her life as an artist has been portrayed in novels, films, and even operas. Her life was scandalous to some, inspirational to others, but every work she made was an act of defiance. Pan Yuliang proved that the body once shamed could be reclaimed and made immortal in art.